So starting with interpretation for CSC members, if you would like to hear any interpretation, please use the headset available to you to help you hear the presentations in the language of your choice. Today, we are offering English and Spanish options, and those will be at the table in the back with me. Si desea hacer uso de la interpretación, por favor utilice los audífonos que están disponibles en la mesa cerca de la entrada, conmigo. De esta manera podrá escuchar la reunión en español. Y si tiene algún problema con el uso de los audífonos, por favor avísenos y haremos lo posible por ayudarle. Next, we're going to discuss recording consent. So please be aware this meeting is being recorded. By participating in the meeting, you authorize the recording of audio and visual content presented during the live event and consent to subsequent use of the recording in the public domain. Members of the public can view the live stream for today's meeting in Spanish on the Facebook page of Calexico-Heber-El and in English on the Facebook page of the County. Today's meeting includes multiple presentations, one from the ICTC regarding exams, and another from the CCD Community Air Monitoring Network. We will also have a meeting having Q&A for CSC members to give them an opportunity to have questions. So just a few housekeeping things. Please note that there's a restroom just here on the side for your convenience. You're also welcome to use that at any point throughout the meeting. If you haven't grabbed some food already, there's sandwiches, chips, and some drinks on this side over here, so please help yourself. Also, a friendly reminder, if you have not signed in, please do so before leaving today. A few more items, there's also a trash can near the bathroom, so if you have anything to throw away, that's available as well. And then we have a couple of exit options for you should there be any emergencies. There's one on this corner here, another one here, and another one as you enter the area where the traffic is. Great. So with that, does anyone have any questions about some of our housekeeping? Okay. Alrighty, so with that, we're able to move ahead to some of our opening remarks. I would like to welcome Israel Hernandez, who will chair today's meeting, to share some opening remarks.
Oh, thank you, Madeline. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the CSC meeting for April 12th. I think we'll get started with the roll call first. I guess we'll go to my right.
My name is Jose Hernandez, I'm from Centro. Sancho Cabañas is here. Raga Felix.
Virginia Mendoza with the Heber Community Transportation Commission.
Good evening, everyone. David Aguirre with the Heber County Transportation Commission.
Carlos from Calexico.
Paulo Alvarado. Michael Moore, CSC member.
Edgar Ruiz from Calexico-Heber-El.
Ricardo Romero, CSC member.
Jonathan Martin Sandwich.
Marco Peroni from their district.
Okay, I believe that's probably 9 CSC members that I counted, so we have quorum. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the new members to the CSC, and also to thank the existing members that have decided to come back and work with us. most of us are, well, a lot of us, we have new faces, and I'm one of those new faces. So we do ask for your patience tonight. Is there any remarks or that any of the CSC members would like to that have tonight?
Bueno, a mí sí me gustaría compartir. Encontrar a José Landeros, encontrar a Ricardo como miembros del comité es animante. Conocemos sus servicios en la comunidad, en sus actividades profesionales, entonces es realmente agradable tenerlos con nosotros.
Any other member that would like to have some remarks or comments right now?
Why is everybody looking at Jeff?
Okay. Okay, well, for the new members, HCD is the co-chair in the CSC committee with CCD. Today, unfortunately, CCD did not make it, or at least Luis or Christian. So I'll be leading this. I'll be the chair for this meeting. We'll go to item number 2 of the agenda, which is public comment period. At this time, I would like to open up our public comment period and invite any member of the public that are in attendance to make any comments. If you would, by raising your hand, please. John, I see you raised your hand.
My comment relates to wanting information as to the new membership, a roster, I don't know if it's in here, who's on now with us, when that ratification process was completed. One, and then the next thing is information and an update if in fact there is going to be a new corridor and how that's going to impact the current CSC. That can come later.
John, one thing that we do have today's agenda is later today we have a space where we could have some discussion with our membership, and I think that would probably be the best place where we could discuss this. But I guess as the agenda or the list of all the new members, we can provide probably email list to all the CSC members, so we all know who the primaries and new members and the existing members. Okay. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, we'll go ahead to item number 3, the approval of the minutes. In your agenda packet, you should have received a copy of the minutes for the CSC meeting that took place on February 8th, 2023. If anyone has a motion to
Chairman Sergio Cabañas, member of the community committee, I make a motion for the approval of the minutes of February 8, 2023. As listed.
Salazar, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion, any comments or discussion on the item? Seeing none, I guess we could go ahead and vote on that, on this. I think it's probably the best way to, well, actually, you know what, in order to take the vote, I mean, I'd like to probably have to go ahead and pass the microphone. All right, or if you vote yes, please raise your hand. All right, it's unanimous to yes.
Virginia,
And let the record reflect that Raul Ureña has joined the committee.
we need one more person.
She didn't count, Mary.
Mary, did you raise your hand? Oh, sorry, I didn't. All right, the motion carries.
Motion carries. Okay, with that, we'll go to item number 4, presentation. The first presentation we have is from the Heber County Transportation Commission, and titled the Blue and Green Circulator Routes Transition to Event. Please welcome Virginia Mendoza and Amida Aguirre. All yours.
Can you guys hear me okay? Sorry about that. Thank you for having us. On behalf of the Heber Community Transportation Commission, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to conduct a presentation for our proposed project. Once again, my name is David Aguirre, and I'm the Executive Director for the Heber County Transportation Commission. So let's dive into our proposed project. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, so our existing blue and green lines, essentially they provide intercity transit services in the city of El Centro. There are 2 routes as it is now. They operate in a capacity of almost like an 8. So they circle around the north side of El Centro and also the south side of El Centro. The pre-pandemic hours for the service for both lines were actually between 6 and 6:38 p.m. Monday through Friday. They used to provide 11 trips each, 22 trips between both lines. As a result of the pandemic, we had to make adjustments to the service. So the current hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 6:38 p.m. for the blue line, 6 trips per day. And for the green line, it's 7:10 a.m. to 5:33 p.m., 5 trips per day. So essentially what they do is they alternate now. Prior to the pandemic, they used to operate independently. Now they alternate routes, so it's using 1 bus instead of 2 buses. While the pre-pandemic numbers of the service were okay, as a post-pandemic, the service is actually coming back online, but it has struggled a little bit out of the gate to resurface to what it priorly was to the pandemic. You go to the next slide. So our existing fleet, we currently use 5 cutaway vehicles to operate both lines. There are 20 seat passenger, cutaway buses with two-wheel wheelchair positions. They are gasoline-powered vehicles. They are new, fairly new. The blue line travels about 16 miles per trip. The green line travels about 13 miles per trip. And again, currently, a total trip is about 29 to 30 miles every 2 hours because it does operate in a loop now. If ICTC reverts to pre-pandemic hours of operation, which is ultimately the goal, the amount of miles would be closer to 60 miles every 2 hours. Total miles traveled per day is about 162 miles currently, and about 300 miles pre-pandemic. So it's a big difference in terms of what the services were versus what they are now. You can go to the next slide. So our proposed EVAN replacements are the proposed electric vans would have an approximate 100-mile range. And it may be a little bit less in the summer due to the AC requirements. To meet the hours of operations, a total of 8 vans would likely be required to replace the 5 cutaway vans. And again, that is a result of having to swap out vehicles midday throughout the day because of essentially the charge running out of the vehicles. So we would need to have additional staff and additional vehicles to be able to swap out vehicles throughout the day. The replacement need is about 8 EVANs at 120,000 each, and this would be full-on electric, and 3 charging stations at a cost of about 300,000. Now that includes the cost of infrastructure and construction, installation, and there could be some retrofitting to the electrical panel that are maintenance that would be required as well. So the total funding request is 1.2 million. And that would be just, again, for the vehicles. The operations would be covered under ICTC, under our existing contracts with our operators. So the service costs would be covered under our existing grants that we actually have now. Next slide. This is just a quick image of our current bus fleet for the vehicles. You can see they're all wheelchair lift equipped, and they seat about 20 passengers. We have similar types of vehicles that actually run on some of our smaller regional routes, like Oakville, Cecily, Bombay Beach, those areas. But they actually do have, these vehicles are equipped with bicycle racks for folks that are actually traveling via bike after drop off after bus. Next slide. This is a proposed concept of an electric van. We do have a similar van. It's not electric. It's a hybrid. So this is essentially kind of what it looks like, plus or minus. Next slide. And that's actually the conclusion of my presentation. Again, my name is David Geary. I'm the executive director, but I also manage the transit program. And then Virginia Mendoza is our program manager on the transportation side. Of course, if there's any questions, any concerns of any kind, you're more than welcome to reach out to us anytime, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Of course, if there's any questions pertaining to the presentation, assuming there's time to do so, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to David Aguirre and Virginia Mendoza for the presentation. CSC members, please raise your hand if you have any questions. John, I see that you have your hand raised, and Raula also has her hand raised.
Yeah, thanks, David. So, trying to understand, what's going on here. I guess, not to my first thought at the end, but these are vans that are fixed route or not fixed route?
They are fixed route. They're part of our fixed route network.
So they serve the entire population.
That's correct.
That gets on and off at the various stops. So in El Centro, that this proposal is but the same service is provided throughout the county.
So these are circulator routes. We only have 3 circulator routes, 2 in El Centro, 1 in Raleigh. And the reason why we consider the circulator routes is because of their range. They stay in a specific area, which allows the vehicles to be swapped in and swapped out a lot easier versus regional routes that actually travel greater distances would create a bigger issue to be able to swap vehicles in and out.
So, let's just basically what's going on. All right. So the other question, I guess, relates to ADCD staff and who represent the CSC in this process. What I'm hearing is a request for funding, an RFP process that I really haven't really gotten an update on to what that process was, what it opened, how much money we have available, how much we're allocating to these types of questions, and I hope that I can hear some of those.
John, I think I could. Yeah, John, pretty much, I guess the presentation was brought to, the CSC committee so that as a representation of the type of project that might be out there that we might be able to provide funds with. Obviously, something like this, I mean, we're in the process of opening RFP for electric bus replacement and also infrastructure. And I guess back in the last CSC meeting, that's what when we came to the CSC meeting and presented that we would like to go ahead and start RFPs. Obviously, it's something that it would have to go through the application process. We would have to bring it back to the CSC committee. And if it's a project that the CSC would like to continue, that's when we would vote on it and the project would continue. Did I answer your question, John? Yeah, one thing that the CSC committee right now it's in a stage where a lot of the initial work that was necessary to form the CSC committee has been completed, and at this point, I think we're at a point where the funds are available, or we have the funding, and it's a matter of the existing members and the new members that now it's a matter of trying to use those funds in the best projects available or best projects that are out there. And that's what that's what we're heading towards, and that's how we would like the public to, when we come up with those RFPs, come back with those applications and present them.
And just to add, from ICTC's perspective, this is just for your consideration. We're more than happy to submit any formal documentation for this body's consideration for the actual project. And in addition to that, provide any additional information that is required.
Raul, I believe you had a question.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, Raul.
Nice to see everybody. Hello. This is my first meeting as Air Quality Control Community Corridor Representative. I have a quick question. So, the two cities that have circulator routes are El Centro, that has 2 circulator routes. Hello? There. My main question was, there's only 2 cities that have circulator routes. El Centro has 2 circulator routes. Raleigh also has 2 circulator routes. At this moment, 1 circulator route in Raleigh. At this moment, Calexico has no circulator routes. They have very new microtransit service. Can you tell us which of those three services, who moves the most people and around what metrics? In terms of people moved per vehicle per hour?
Of the three services,
Yeah, microtransit, Raleigh, and El Centro.
at the moment, it's actually the Calexico service that moves the most amount of people. We're seeing about, so that service is a little different. Essentially what it is it's almost like a public transit Uber. It's highly subsidized by the agency. ICTC pursues grants to operate it, in addition to leasing the vehicles. So what that service is, like I said, is almost like a public transit Uber. It's fairly affordable. It's $2 a trip and $1 for any additional person that actually rides on the trip, or $1 for seniors, persons with disabilities. But that service has three vehicles that operate within the daily basis. It operates around those confines at the same time frame, 6 to 6. And that service sees about 5 passengers per hour per vehicle. The circulators are somewhere in the ballpark of about 2 to 3.
Between El Centro and Raleigh, people move per route?
Brawley sees a lot more. Brawley's is closer to about 4.
And this is, my main concern, with this particular project is there's a funding request, for electrification of a route that is doing the least well of all the services. I would like to hear from ICTC other infrastructure needs, or maybe a funding application that would help this service get the ridership up to the level of Raleigh and Calexico. I would like to see in terms of how much CO2 is being reduced, car trips reduced, this funding request versus other things that ICTC might have on the table.
Sure, absolutely. And we're part of our process is we currently evaluate all of our routes. It's a continuous process that we do. In addition to that, we're planning to actually do a comprehensive operational analysis of all of our services. So that will provide additional information pertaining to us for how we're operating our services. In addition to that, we also have a dial-in service for seniors and persons with disabilities in various communities, including Raleigh, El Centro, Imperial, Calexico. So that could be another concept that we could potentially bring to this body as well. Those operate almost like a microtransit, but for the senior population exclusively. So, for us, this is a concept for your consideration. We're more than happy to provide different alternatives for your consideration, and kind of discuss potential opportunities that may exist.
That sounds amazing, and I think one of those that I wanted to bring to the attention of the community corridor committee is that Mayor Cardenas and myself did sit down with Mr. Heber, and one of the things that we explored is maybe this money can be used for transitioning this service into a microtransit for El Centro. So there's many different ways this money can be used, and we should try to find the one that's most efficient and ultimately can get more people to move in a way that is carbon friendly.
Sure, absolutely. And that's ultimately the goal. ICTC, along with every other transit agency in the state, is working towards transitioning their fleet from fossil fuels to some sort of alternative zero emission technology. So we're a part of that. We're currently evaluating our options to continue to do so. So again, we're more than happy to present different alternatives for this group to consider.
Thank you, John. You get our answer your questions. Really appreciate that. Any other questions? Awesome.
Más que preguntas, un comentario. Bueno, como miembro del comité y como residente de Calexico, sabemos que es muy grande la necesidad en nuestro condado de transporte público. Pero yo en lo particular saludo este concepto de cambio al microtransporte eléctrico, a la reducción de los bonos de carbono. Entonces, definitivamente hay mucho que resolver. Es complejo, como lo dije antes, nuestra situación del transporte, pero yo saludo el proyecto y espero ver ya la propuesta por parte de ustedes para ir adelante.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, René, por sus comentarios. Any other CSC members have any questions or comments at this time? Yes, Michael.
I just had a couple of questions on the capacity change between the current, equipment. That was 20 persons and 2 handicap wheelchair access available. The van, what was its capacity?
I believe the van's capacity is probably about 8. And so some of those vehicles would have to be retrofitted to seat, persons with disabilities or wheelchair-bound individuals. So typically what ends up happening when you retrofit those vehicles, you lose seats to accommodate that, or they even do, like fold-out seats to be able to accommodate. So I would imagine it would be somewhere in the ballpark of about 8.
And the projected service life for the van, the electric van, did you guys have any time?
Yeah, no, so most of our vehicles fall under the 5 to 7 year range, in terms of their life. And we are already able to transition them at that point. And depending on the type of scenario in which they operate, so if they operate in a circulator capacity, they would ultimately drive less miles than, let's say, a microtransit concept. Because the microtransit would require them to be going around throughout the city all the time.
And in a constant motion.
Right. And it would require a little bit more vehicles to be able to do so. And in this capacity, we're essentially using one vehicle to operate in a circular fashion.
Okay, I just wanted to find out.
No, of course, no problem.
Thank you. The 100-mile range that you guys offered for the new van, where did that come from? Because the battery life should be significantly more, but you're factoring in AC usage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of an average?
Well, yeah, so we adjusted the life to accommodate AC use in the summer. But these vans actually typically reach somewhere in the ballpark of like 120, 130. So we anticipated during the winter, it probably might be able to reach that or close to that. But during the summer with the AC running at essentially full capacity, we suspected it probably be in the ballpark of 100. And this is per information that we received from a vendor that we actually purchase vehicles from on a regular basis. So they tested the vehicles in other areas as a comparable option.
Any other questions?
You consider how?
Okay, thank you, sir. The life expectancy of the battery, maintenance cost, all these things, how you're handling all that, you're going to reduce the people that can use from 20 to 10, probably 8, and then how long you can run that? You say 5 to 6 years, 7 years with that maintenance cost. That will be enough.
So essentially what we're asking or asking for consideration for this project would be the vehicles, right? So the maintenance is built into our operations cost, which we provide part of our normal operational service. So that's why we're actually proposing a service like this, where it's already existing. We'd be trying something a little different. We'd already cover the cost of operation and maintenance for the vehicles. It would be more of supplying the vehicles to be able to do this. And of course, as a result, when you switch from a gas-powered vehicle where you have significantly higher range to something that's electric and has to be swapped out more often and charged and things like that, the amount of vehicles in the range is significantly lower.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Just wanted to see if there were other CSC members who have some questions. No? Okay. I think we can.
Well, the one thing that I do wanna make sure is clear, it's the presentation, it's at its initial stage, I believe, and even if a project like this, I mean, we're still bound to certain guidelines from the state that there's certain steps or regulations that we have to meet. So a project like this wouldn't fit into one of those guidelines. I know probably at the initial stage of the committee, there was probably some type of work with Chapter 6, or the guidelines where we would have to pretty much, it's kind of like a special request from the state to be able to do a project of this type. Just wanted to clear that.
There's no further questions. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you so much. We do want to make sure that there's an opportunity for the community. If there are any questions, please raise your hand. All right, thank you all so much. And thank you again for this awesome presentation.
Thank you.
All righty. So thanks again to Imperial County Transportation Commission staff for your presentation, and to the CSC and community members for your participation. We're now ready to begin the next presentation by card on updates to the AQB website. There will also be time for questions at the end of the presentation. Today's presentation by card will be hosted by Zoom. Welcome, card. Take it away.
So Taylor? Hey, can you hear me? Yes, you guys here? Sorry, I'll go ahead and share my screen. try to make it available so you can look on the map and also these files. Yeah, like Excel files, you can open up and start plotting data, your own data science if you are interested in that. And we try to make our files very simple. We have an explainer showing like what each field means. And we're also readily available to answer any questions. So if you want to, download and start trying to figure out how to, we're really here for that and help support it. We also have a report to publish, and this is just another kind of download tool where all the data that's in our download tool here. So they can like aggregate a report. Sometimes there's some lab data, so what kind of canister measurements the lab has to print out, provide that printout on the tool. And then we also have the map and the time series tool, which is a way to like graph over time your folks, so I'll just download. And then there's the event forward, which I talked about earlier. This is just like a great way for you all to provide comments and suggestions on the article. And then finally, in the future, we're looking to automate some of our data analysis and provide summaries. So, maybe we'll collect data for 6 months and then we'll try to generate a type of summary report. So just to summarize the data we have, you for the criminal experience. This was a map of all the sites, and we get to see the work with the water site, about 2.5, 10 measurements, and all the data is available from our download tool. There is some, there was a lot of data from the early days, we were good to go. We only have up to December 2020 until now, but we are working to extract all that data. And then all this modern information is down on our tools, and like I said, we have quality checks. And so every time you download the data, you'll actually see like, oh, pass this check, pass this check, this check, this check. And it can just kind of give you a little bit of reassurance that, what you're looking at isn't obviously wrong. All right, so this is Matthew to go to the demo. If you have a QR code, go to the website right now. You want the website URL
Okay, great, thank you so much. And apologies, just because the audio is a bit hard to hear, I just want to confirm that that was the conclusion of the presentation.
Okay, so this is our website, and once you go to the URL, you the home page, and it just shows you some of the tools right away that I mentioned. So we've got the link to the map here, the download tool, and then report lab data. And then down below, provide some updates to what happened recently. One thing we felt was very soon was adding features to our app and download tools. That's and then there's some resources such as like download explainers to explain what are the files download and information about and then this is that feedback tool here down below. So after this demo and presentation, if you want to go ahead and try out the map and then navigate and click on this, it'll bring you to a window where you can actually write comments. And I'll give you a little demo of that. So just jump to the map. Click on map at the top. And look down to so this map shows the latest air quality data throughout the whole state, but right now it's in the Delta Valley area. And you can see that the community boundary is highlighted in blue. And dots on the map represent the air quality monitors. And we present the air quality index, you might be familiar with. We've got here now the federal EPA's air quality index. It just ranges from green to purple. So pretty scary. And just to show you a couple things to do on this. So you can click on this blue boundary.
We're gonna try to change the
You'll
audio.
get a lot of summary information on it. So it'll say,
We're gonna try switching the audio quick.
oh, okay. I will pause until you tell me to.
All right, we're good to go.
Okay, do I need to backtrack?
So, we're good to continue.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. So, once you click on this is the map, this is on our CCTV, you'll see like a flood map, and it shows the current air quality, and it also shows the community boundaries, if you didn't hear that. And this is that blue boundary. So if you click on this boundary, it'll actually show you some information about the community. So why it was selected, a description of the community, and some of the air quality challenges, some helpful links, and then also explains what monitoring data is available in this community. So basically that's all of these green dots. So that's the monitoring sites, and it just summarizes that. Then to jump into, maybe you're interested in a particular monitor, you can click on one of them, and it'll give you the latest measurement. So this updates around 20 minutes after the hour. So right now we've got the 5 o'clock data in here. Pretty soon the 6 o'clock data will roll around. And it shows you the last 6 hours of measurements in this box here. And then also shows you the current, so 20. And green means good. And if you're confused on the colors, you can always refer back to the scale up here. We'll tell you some info. And then down below, we provide a lot of information about the monitor. So, what the site's called, what the elevation is, what monitoring technology you can use, and so forth. So, if you're interested in that, it's there. Another cool feature is this time slider down here. So you'll see that it's showing 5 p.m. But you're actually able to slide back in time and see how things evolve over the last 24 hours. So you can move this slider, and you can see how things change with time. So this is a nice way of kind of finding peak periods. So you clearly, when the morning traffic starts to pick up, it goes from green to yellow, yellow, and then, back to green for the most part. There might be something going on with this monitor down here. So this is just one way of kind of diving into this data. You can zoom out and do that for a larger area and see trends that way. So you can kind of see how the colors change. So it's just a nice way of identifying patterns and when events happen. Another way to dive into the data is to click on this monitor. So those green dots again. You can click up to 4 monitors, and it'll put that in a graph. So let's see that. So we do 1. So 1 of 4 monitors selected. Do this 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You could do 1, or 2, or 3, or 4. And when you do this, you can scroll down, and it creates a nice graph for you. So it shows you all the sites we just selected, those are the 4 monitors, and then it shows you the color-coded graph. So, when it starts to get into the yellow, when it gets a little bit better for this last 24 hours. And you can constantly update this. So you could add different monitors here, change them out. You could remove one, and so forth. And then if something is very interesting here, and maybe you want to save this image, you can go to this button right here. There's just a little save chart, and it'll create a nice little graphic image for you. And then maybe that could be a good way to start a conversation at one of these meetings if you see something. Another thing on this is you can change the time base. So you can go all the way to last week as well, instead of just last 24 hours. So this lets you see kind of day to day over the last 7 days. Maybe maybe there was a particularly bad day. It looks like this day was pretty bad on the. So just another way to dive into it. And this all works on your phone, but I highly recommend you try it out and then see if there's something off that you want to comment on. That would be really helpful for us. I feel like I covered most of the map features. I'm gonna do it on time. I'll just quickly flash for a download tool just to show you how to use it, and then I'll open it up for questions after just one more slide as well. So this is our download tool. If you want to download data for your community, there's just this main filter here. So you just select one of these three. So you can select county or the community or data provider. Maybe you want to do community. That's straightforward. You could select Calexico, Centro, Heber. And then it shows you what solutions are available. Like I said, it's PM10, PM25. And then from here, it'll tell you how many records are available for download based on your date. So maybe you want to go all the way back to December 2022. And then this is how many records will be available. And like I said, we are trying to expand how much data is available in here. So keep checking back. And then you can click download and you'll get a nice organized file for all these data. And just due to lack of time, I won't go into that file, but I invite you all to check it out. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my slides real quick. So like I said, we are looking for feedback. This is on that home page at the very bottom where it says feedback tool. If you click on any of those icons, it will bring you to a window that looks like this. And it's a cool way of just adding comments or asking questions. In the top right of this window, you can also select Spanish or another language. And we just want to know how you feel about this application, whether it's useful, if you have any questions about the data, how can we make it better for you? Does it work weird on your phone? Or do you have any other ideas for features? These are all really helpful for us. And just to summarize our team, so there's myself, Taylor, and then we got Ray, Annie, Emily, Jean, and Yanju. Yanju's here. Also our fearless branch chief, and then here. And if you ever need to contact any of us, you can use our contact us email at aqview@arb.ca.gov. And again, our website down here is aqview.arb.ca.gov. I think if you just Google AQView, you should be able to find it. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions you might have.
Thank you, Taylor and the PAR team, for your presentation and demonstration. We can open up questions and comments from the CSC members. Yes. Yes, Ricardo, please.
Hi, Taylor.
Hello.
Hi, Taylor. Thank you for making data for our community a little bit more accessible. I know that last meeting, Helen said that we would be adding the regulatory monitors, the ACCD, has onto the AQView. Are those on there already?
Great question. No, those aren't on there yet, but that is something we could probably do fairly easily with some coordination. Right now, we just have the CSC data set.
And then I saw that parameters only measure PM10 and PM2.5. When we add these regulatory monitors, would you be able to share the data or expand on the other contaminant solutions?
Yeah, so the map will only show PM2.5 just because we're still trying to figure out how to display other pollutants. But the download tool will have everything. So you'll see for other communities that they have much more than PM2.5 as well.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, this is great. This is great. This is good stuff. I like it. And my question, part of my question was answered already. But I guess locally, when we see, in the news about air quality, I'm wondering whether getting that data, and in fact, if we do interface the regulatory monitors with the ag monitors, and figure out a way for that information to be shared. And the other question is there a way to, let's say, upload, significant events? On the screen?
Yeah, I think I heard both of those. It's a little far on my end, but I think the first question was just asking whether all the data is going to be integrated and how it will be accessible. And then the next one was whether we track events. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so on the first one, the map and the download tool I was showing, that actually has monitoring data from a lot of different networks. So CSC, some district monitors, some other low cost sensor monitors. So we're already really aggregating. And the next phase, we're going to add the purple layer, which will be just this huge dump of, a lot of monitors. And then we're going to add the regulatory monitors. So when you visit our portal, it should be a one-stop shop. And you should be able to see everything on one map. And then you should be able to download everything from one download tool. So you won't need to, go from purple layer to air now, access to wherever. But that is a major goal of ours. And then in terms of the events, there is a lot of interest in that. We're trying to figure that out. That's a great suggestion that I'll make sure you can mark down. We do have that time series where you can look over the last week, like I was showing. You can basically see events. You can see the peaks. So that is only for a week. We are looking to add a month look back, and then you could see maybe even more events. And then, a good idea, like you're saying, is to track them. So maybe timestamps, peak values for a given community. That's something we could look into.
Thank you, Ricardo and John, for your questions. Do any other CSC members have any questions or comments? Okay, we'll open it up to the community members for any questions or comments. Yes.
Hello, Miguel. Thank you for the presentation. Just a quick question on quality assurance. Given that there are many providers in the platform, what is the procedure that's followed to have quality assurance?
Would someone mind repeating that for me? I think it doesn't translate well to the Zoom.
Tyler, the question was about quality assurance. Seeing that there was a lot of providers, or how is that being
How's that taken
care of or considered?
Yeah, great question. I did touch on that a little bit, but so on the map we do some checks. So we do research on every manufacturer model of instrument. So for Dilos, for example, in CC, we know kind of some parameters. It should never exceed this value. It's going to be lower than this value. We also do some checks on spikes. So we have this really cool algorithm to see oh, that shouldn't have gone up that fast. That doesn't seem right. There's also problems where monitors will just keep saying the same value over and over, and that's a common sensor problem. So these are all checks that we do, and if they fail any of those, we mark that, and then we provide all that information very clearly in our download tool. So if you download our data, you'll see 4 columns for all those checks, and it'll say pass or suspicious or pass, and that's just one level of quality control, but it is a great way to kind of span across all the different monitoring technologies, because we track for purple layer versus an expensive district monitor, we have different values for all of those that we check. And we are looking to expand that even more. There is a little bit of a tension because it's kind of up to the site operator and how they set it up and whether that's a good position that we need to check on. Whereas all we do is like get the data and we can analyze the data. So like a full quality control requires some coordination with the folks on the ground setting up a monitor. But we're trying to do the best that we can with checking the data and finding anomalies.
Thank you so much for your question. Are there any other questions from the community? Okay. So I think that wraps up our questions and comments from the CSC members and community members. Thank you so much, Bard and Taylor, for your presentation today.
Thanks for your time.
All right, so up next, we will have Edgar Ruiz from Comité Cívico del Valle sharing updates on the Community Air Monitoring Network. Note that we'll also have Q&A at the end of the presentation. Also note that this presentation will be in Spanish. If you are a monolingual English speaker, you will need your interpretation headphones to hear the interpretation in English. As a reminder, the interpretation headphone is available in the back with me. Edgar?
Well, if you want, we could take a minute or two, just in case, someone wants to get one of the interpretations. And then we'll start.
Mario, can you log into Facebook and see to your personal one? You can see it live.
I don't have Facebook.
What happened?
No,
I have it, but I don't use it.
It's been like 7 years since I've had it.
Yeah, like Facebook is like MySpace, like that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Are you like a mute right now?
Thank you, everyone. See everyone got a few snacks, took a little break. We'd like to welcome everyone back to their seats for the following presentation. As a reminder, if you need to use the bathroom at any point, please feel free to do so. They'll located here on the side. English speakers to pick up your interpretation headset if you haven't done so already.
I think we're trying to get back to our presentation. If take our seats, please. Okay, thank you, Andrew, for your speech.
Hola, muy buenas tardes a todos. Edgar Ruiz, de parte del Calexico-Heber-El, les vengo a presentar el update del monitoreo de aire del mes de febrero y de marzo. Siguiente slide, por favor. Ok, vamos a estar realizando el análisis preliminar de la red Heber con ABC17. Para el mes de febrero tenemos un análisis un poquito más profundo, ya que nos habían solicitado que hiciéramos énfasis en ciertos puntos, entonces hemos estado trabajando. Les vamos a presentar algunas gráficas y dependiendo a esto veremos si seguimos sacando datos de esa forma o si en algo todavía más específico. Y para el mes de marzo es el regular que siempre hemos estado viendo. Para el siguiente mes, que es el mes de abril, pues ya evaluaríamos qué es lo que ustedes les parece que está bien o algo más profundo o ver qué es lo que estamos buscando para poder presentarles. Y el siguiente paso sería pues algo más específico. Siguiente slide. Pues como vemos aquí, pues es el mapa que ya casi todos conocen. Los nuevos, pues en puntos verdes son los monitores que son parte de ABC17 y los puntos rojos son los monitores que son de la red Heber, pero que están dentro del corredor. El único update que va a haber va a ser uno nuevo que va a estar, como va a sacar la pantalla, va a estar en este sitio. Va a ser una escuela, estamos trabajando ya con el distrito escolar del centro para instalarlo. Mañana ya sería la preparación y todo, entonces para la siguiente presentación ya estaría. Siguiente disposición. Bueno, comenzamos con el análisis preliminar de febrero. Como podemos ver, tuvimos un 80.37% de bajo riesgo en las medidas como los monitores, un 15.99% en moderada, amarilla, un 2.36% en lo que es insalubre para algunos grupos y un 1.29% en insalubre para todos. Este es análisis preliminar de todo el mes y de todos los monitores del correo. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Aquí estamos viendo ya por ciudad, el análisis de la ciudad de Calexico. En este caso tuvimos un 59.29% de bajo riesgo, un 23.82% moderada, un 4.32% en insalubre para algunos grupos y un 2.57% insalubre para todos. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Para la ciudad de Heber, tuvimos un 92.73% en bajo riesgo, un 5.85% en moderada, un 0.91% insalubre para algunos grupos y un 0.51% insalubre para todos. Además, como énfasis, recordar que aquí en la ciudad de Heber pues solo tenemos un monitor, entonces pues ahí sí varía. Ya vemos pues la posibilidad de ampliar la red de monitoreo. Siguiente slide, por favor. Esto es para la ciudad del centro. Tuvimos un 89.43% de bajo riesgo, un 9.86% de moderada, 0.58% en insalubre para algunos grupos y un 0.10% en insalubre para todos. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Bueno, esto es de lo que les estamos hablando. Este es el análisis preliminar del corredor. Es de todos los días del mes de febrero. No se alcanza a ver, pero abajo son los días del 1 al 28. Es la gráfica que te muestra la cantidad que hubo dependiendo del día. Ahorita vamos a pasar más específico por ciudad y luego por los picos que hubo en los días más altos. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Ok, dependiendo, bajo el análisis que hicimos de todo el mes, los días que hubo más alto riesgo para la gente por la calidad del aire fueron el día 5, 9, 14, 21 y 27 del mes, siendo el día 5 el día que hubo más peor calidad del aire para el corredor. Ahorita en la siguiente diapositiva vamos a pasar a los picos de los días. Siguiente diapositiva. Ok, aquí estamos viendo el análisis de los picos por ciudad. Esta es la ciudad de Calexico. Como podemos ver, en la ciudad de Calexico parece su peor calidad del aire de corredor. En este caso, queríamos revisar con ustedes si la siguiente vez que vamos a la presentación quieren que busquemos una correlación de algunos eventos, ya sea tema de agricultura, clima, viento o algo que pueda afectar que esté pasando esto. Eso sería pues, el siguiente paso que queremos dar para al momento de entregarles esta información. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Ok, también en la ciudad de Heber, los días que también hubo peor calidad del aire fueron el 5, 9, 14, 21 y 27 con respecto a los datos que obtuvimos, y siendo igual el día 5 el día que hubo peor calidad del aire, al igual que en la ciudad de Calexico. Siguiente diapositiva. Ok, en estamos revisando la ciudad del Centro, que fue la ciudad que tuvo mejor calidad del aire durante el mes de febrero. Igual como vemos, el día 5 fue cuando hubo peor calidad del aire con respecto a todos los demás días del mes. Siguiente, por favor. Y esa es la presentación de los puntos que se realizó. En este caso, el siguiente paso, como les comento, que queremos dar es buscar una correlación con algunos eventos que puedan haberse suscitado aquí en el condado o en alguna ciudad en específico. Ese sería el siguiente paso que queremos dar. No sé si, bueno, al final que sean el momento de las preguntas, entonces me comenten qué opinan. Este es el análisis preliminar de marzo. En este caso es nomás el que hemos estado viendo con anterioridad. Entonces, ya en el final, pues me comentan si quieren que sigamos buscando como algo más específico o si quieren que sea una presentación como en este caso no hubo ningún monitor que lo estuvo sensando, por eso en la primera barra es 0. En este caso tuvimos un 84.66% de bajo riesgo y un 9.44% moderado, 2.35% en insalubre para algunos grupos y un 3.55% para insalubre para todos. La siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Estamos viendo lo que es el análisis preliminar de la ciudad de Calexico. Como podemos ver, hubo un 74.01% de bajo riesgo, un 14.28% de moderada, 4.41% de insalubre para algunos grupos y un 7.30 de riesgo para todos. Siguiente diapositiva. En la ciudad de Heber, nomás se encontraron moderada, en bajo riesgo y en salud para todos, solo un 0.53%. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Ok, en la ciudad del Centro, como podemos ver, hubo un 94.37% de bajo riesgo, un 5.19% de moderada y un 0.39% de insalubres para algunos grupos, perdón, y un 0.05% de insalubres para todos. Siguiente diapositiva. Bueno, pues, ¿qué queremos llegar con esto? Queremos ver con ustedes los siguientes pasos, que es lo que les gustaría que les trajéramos a presentar, si tienen algo más detallado, algunos eventos que pueden haber solicitado, ya sea clima, vientos o eventos, actividades que hay en el valle y que puedan hacer que esté pasando esto. Y sería todo por mi parte.
Gracias, Edgar, por la presentación. I'd like to open it up now for CSC members for any comments or questions. Yes, Centro.
Sorry, Mike. Okay. Es importante que sí consigan la información de eventos, porque por lo que estoy viendo y sin conocer mucho de lo que están diciendo, los mismos días fueron para todo el valle, ¿verdad? Calexico-Heber-El. El Centro, es obvio que ahí hubo un evento quizá de vientos, no sé. Entonces sí creo que para que nosotros tengamos mejor una idea cómo están trabajando los monitores, qué calidad de información nos están dando, que si vengas con una serie de eventos en los días que hay algún cambio radical en la información.
Sí, le voy a comentar a mi jefe, Cristian, pues hacemos el análisis juntos, entonces vamos a tratar de traerles ya sea temperatura, viento, cómo estuvo en estos días, para poder buscar una correlación de qué es lo que está sucediendo. Igual si se suscita algún otro tipo de actividad que pueda estar afectando eso.
Edgar, no sé si platicamos esto la última vez que hice la presentación, en que ¿por qué tienen que estar las letras, los porcentajes tan pequeños que le pongo talento y no lo podemos? Tenemos que ser más claros, más para que se vea a la persona que entienda, más tratando un esfuerzo de que los números para que queden claros y todos los colores diseñados se vean más claros, más grandes. Hay bastante espacio por todo la presentación. ¿Es algo que sí se puede hacer?
Sí, creo que sí, lo podemos, lo reviso con Cristian para que estén más claros para la siguiente.
Y una parte por ahí, si hay eventos que estén puestos ahí en rojo, para ver que movió si no hubo nada, ya puedo ir para atrás otros meses y dar, hubo mucho viento, hubo muchas lluvias o no hubo nada, algo que tengan que poner que para ti o opinión, porque que nos digan qué pudo haber pasado, todos los pasados en ese mes. Pero cuando los tantos porcentajes y no se ve nada de lo que pasó, estamos adivinando qué pasó.
Sí.
Como residente de Calexico y viendo las gráficas, los reportes, por lo regular, Calexico es el que muestra los índices más altos de vías insalubres para todos. Sabemos que la cercanía con la frontera es un factor determinante. Pero también, si mal no recuerdo, en los últimos semanas ha habido incendios, grandes incendios. Y aquí la pregunta es si hay una correlación de parte de la ciudad, el condado, para recomendar esos eventos especiales y que también saber qué tanto reflejan la situación de Calexico. Sabemos que Calexico, por la cuestión fronteriza y el tráfico vehicular, tanto comerciales como doméstico, pues es un factor de alto riesgo para la ciudad, ¿verdad? Por eso los estándares siempre tan altos. Pero ¿qué hay de los eventos que ya necesitamos verlos ya en pantalla? Esos eventos especiales, esos días especiales, que tuvimos vientos de Santana, que también influyen de gran manera, entonces sí es necesario ya reflejar esa información en su reporte.
Muy bien, vamos a estar trabajando en eso.
We have one more question from Virginia.
Voy a empezar como disculpando porque tal vez es mi ignorancia, si recuerdo bien la información en cuestión de los monitores, había una aplicación que estaba, creo, en el sitio de la página web de ACCD, para demostrar, ¿verdad?, sus niveles, la calidad del aire, ¿verdad?, y para que también se pudiera bajar al celular. En cuestión de información y cómo se distribuye a la comunidad, porque aparte de esa plataforma, hay otros medios con los cuales el Comité Cívico de la área distribuye esa información a la comunidad y cuál es ese mecanismo. Creo que eso es importante porque sí entiendo el valor de la información, cómo se utiliza para los cambios que se necesitan hacer de pólizas, ¿verdad?, y peticiones de fondos, pero en cuestión de cómo se distribuye esa información a la comunidad, es un aspecto valioso que se podría compartir en nosotros. Un comentario más que nada.
Ok, no se sabe.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sandra.
Gracias. Me gustaría ver si aquí tienen una sugerencia sobre los monitores individuales. Yo pienso que sí sería una buena idea de recalcar cuáles monitores, como el día 5. Pienso que tal vez podemos estar identificando zonas, ya sabemos los diferentes sources, pero pienso que podríamos tratar de identificar en la comunidad monitores o áreas de más alto riesgo para que la comunidad también sepa. Y obviamente parte de la razón que tenemos estos monitores es para ver cómo las pólizas y los programas del SERP están teniendo un efecto en mejorar los números que vemos en los monitores. Ojalá ya que estamos entrando a varios años de este programa podamos empezar a ver cómo están ayudando esas pólizas y estas intervenciones en mejorar la calidad en el futuro también. Gracias.
Okay, sure.
Is there any other questions from the CSC members? Okay. Happy to open up to any questions from community members. Yes.
En los días en que existe mayor contaminación del aire, es posible también tener los datos por hora para verificar o ver si hay como alguna incidencia también en los horarios, ya que esta persona
Sí, lo intentamos hacer, pero que son muchos datos y de hecho se crashó la computadora como 3 veces para sacar los datos, porque si como son datos cada 5 minutos, son un chorro de entregar toda la información, pero voy a hacer lo posible para que la siguiente diapositiva ya venga un poco más claro y también más a detalle a todos los puntos que tocaron ahorita en los puntos.
Are there any other questions from the community members? Comments as well? Gracias, César.
Muchas gracias.
So thank you everyone for your questions. Gracias por su presentación. The next item is a discussion and information Q&A from the Air District. This is the time for the CSC members, both new and old, to ask their questions. We added this agenda item with the idea that it could be a space for especially new members to share any questions they have about the committee, the project. We invite returning CSC members to chime in and share their experiences with new members as well. And the Air District will address most of those questions, but the DSD would also welcome to jump in. Please note that if there are any questions that require follow-up, the Air District will follow up after the meeting. So with that, I'll pass it to Jay.
Okay, yeah, this section was, we originally put it in our last meeting that unfortunately we had to cancel, where we expected to have, both, co-chairs here, and also, personnel from the state. The whole purpose of having this section on the agenda was so that it was kind of like, so that the new members could, if they had any questions as far as what the AB 617 CSC committee is all about, and also as for the existing members. I see Cedric has a first question, so I'm going to rely also on the existing CSC members' experience so that they can share with the new members and myself also.
Thank you. I'm not going to hold you to the fire tonight because I know you're the last minute substitute. However, I have a two-part question. So the first one goes to the district. Have all the membership for this new committee full, or we still have open?
Cedric, yeah, pretty much, we know that, in our previous meeting in February, we wanted to make sure we had pretty much all the applications that we received, and for the members that were eligible to be part of the CSC committee, we took that list to the board so that we would actually have a functioning committee, so that any new project that would come in, we would be able to vote on, or so we could continue with the progress. The actual, we're still accepting applications for any alternates, and I believe if we do actually get any alternate applications, we would wait till we have nice numbers, because there's still quite a few vacant spots, especially for alternates. So we do have to go back to the board and request that they are approved.
Okay. Based on your answer, this new committee seems to be very small compared to what we had 5.5 years ago. Okay. So my next comment is for all the new members. I want to encourage you guys to be more engaged in this group. Members like John, Mary, Mike, and myself, we started with a dream. There was nothing. We learned to disagree. We fought among us for a year to get bylaws, and I'm not sure you new members have the opportunity to read the bylaws and get familiarized with that. However, we really need to be more encouraged to participate, look for projects, encourage the community. Because I remember being in this room with people standing on the walls. The public in here was full. You probably remember that very well. It was in this room when I finally put the vote of the motion for the approval of the bylaws. Mary, you probably remember that. There's some new members that came later, like Renee. And, sorry, your name there for the flag. But no, we were more engaged. We were more participating. We were looking for more projects. We approved a lot of stuff. So please, for me, seeing here is kind of like a very small group. Like we're not engaged. Presentations are great, you know, for the agencies, for things like that. But we have to learn how to work on projects that are going to benefit our community. So that's my comment.
Mary, I guess if you could jump in before the next question.
I agree. All of the leaders, follow community quarter. And my concerns are, I've noticed that our community participation is getting smaller and less interested community members. That concerns me. I think by next year, we're probably not going to be able to even have anybody come and participate. We used to have, which was something I encouraged that we needed, is education, the seminars, our group separation. That was very helpful. I learned a lot doing that and felt that I deserved to be here because I was getting more knowledgeable and knowing what we're talking about. To this day, we still can't pinpoint or even get close to a percentage of where we are getting most of the pollution of the contaminants that are in the ground. Yet we haven't been able to say this is it on these days, these months of the year. We still haven't been able to do that. Not that we're going to take care of the problem, but just to find out where it's possibly causing the damage. Yet we don't have that. So that's very concerning after so many years. And spending money on, buying, the energy conservation products and stuff is great. Oh, we need to really hustle and do more for our community. I think we deserve to do that for our community, and we need to build up more speed and more interest. And actually, maybe put it on paper. A lot of people don't even know it exists. As a TV, I was telling everyone every meeting, put it on the news. Let us know who we are, because a lot of people will probably get involved if we knew we were here, but they don't know. Like when they talk about it, where are you guys? When is this happening? We're still not actually here, so there's a lot of people don't know about it. Why is that? Because we need to be out there announcing what we're doing. If they have opinions, I don't know. Then to see how many people are really watching what we're doing or even care. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. I would just like to echo what Mary mentioned regarding publishing. I think the press release or really summarizing or just directing folks to the projects that have been funded through the 8617 here and the corridor. I think those are important opportunities that can be leveraged to really expose the growth and the good work that's been done in inception of this group. And I would like to just mention that I have served as the alternate, although my boss, ex-boss, Mark Baza, who has since retired, was very much a present participant of this group while, during his tenure. So that's why you see me now. You'll see me now moving forward. But just like to just echo what Mary mentioned, and also just bring up to that as far as I have our agency has been very much reached out to by organizations some, doing border work. And so to Sandex, they're doing freight sustainability, freight strategy, freight sustainable strategy, and would like to, come to this group for information and just to request input from this particular body in the future. So that's something I'll be bringing up because this is a really good representation of this corridor and very much impacted by a lot of the border freight movement that we see here in Carroll County. So this is something I wanted to bring up.
Bueno, definitivamente, como mencionaba Sergio, fue en el 2019, recuerdo en este salón, cuando nos reunimos, quizás por estos meses, febrero, marzo, celebrando, no sé si era el segundo o tercer aniversario de ABC 17, estaba concurrido, o sea, no recuerdo el número, pero era un muy buen número de participantes y de ciudadanos. Definitivamente, bueno, como mencioné cuando inició la sesión, yo celebro este nuevo principio. Es una nueva oportunidad para ABC 17. Tengo entendido que ABC 17 a nivel Sacramento se va a expandir. Va a haber más recursos. Tienen una visión muy amplia los legisladores para ABC 17. Entonces tenemos que sacar ventaja. Los nuevos colegas, los nuevos compañeros, en el principio no estaba por aquí Daniela, pero qué alegría contar con Daniela. Entonces, bueno, yo animo a la mesa directiva a que, recuerdo que en un tiempo tuvimos una reunión y hubo una capacitación y un entrenamiento y un fundamento de ABC 17. Quizás sea un buen tiempo de hacerlo nuevamente con los nuevos miembros. Punto importante, necesitamos completar la plantilla de suplentes, ¿verdad? Y bueno, es una gran oportunidad que tenemos en este corredor. Tenemos la visión de que se puede expandir hacia el norte del condado. Es una gran oportunidad que tenemos que aprovechar y ser animados a realmente difundir. Yo pongo a su consideración, tenemos acceso a la radio bilingüe para promover esto sin ningún costo. Lo pongo a su consideración. Hay noticieros de ellos de 7 a 8 de la mañana o de 6 a 7 de la mañana, donde podemos estar pasando cápsulas informativas de ABC sin ningún costo. Algún miembro, algún del comité o de diferentes ciudades que participamos, que participen una vez por semana, etcétera. Hay mucho que hacer. Entonces, bueno, me alienta un nuevo principio. Hay capacidad, pero sobre todo hay un futuro prominente para nuestro corredor.
Bueno, yo sé que lo principal, sí, que es un nuevo principio con muchos de nosotros, entonces sí, que nuestro tiempo es muy importante. Entonces ahorita estamos teniendo un diálogo que planteo que nos va a mejorar. Le iba a pasar el micrófono a Raúl. Sí. Bueno, hay que pasar.
Lo único que iba a decir es que me pongo a disposición de identificar estos medios, ya sea de televisión, de radio, así que tanto el colega René como yo mismo, conocemos muy bien los reporteros que quieran difundir esta información, pues es muy importante que cada mesa tenga una persona que esté a disposición de ponerse en los programas de radio, programas de televisión, y lo podemos rotar para que vean varias caras de diferentes comunidades.
I just want to do a quick check. We want to respect everybody's time. I just see that Michael has some questions. But just to let you all know, we are getting a little close to the end of the meeting, so I'll pass it to Michael.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to kind of give my little viewpoint and recap, for the, success of the committee, some of the things I do want to give big recognition to the job of the additional air monitors that were installed, how that job ran, the amount of work I'm sure that was behind that was in place, and to the point where we have the monthly presentation. So I think that's a big success for the committee and the folks that were involved in that direction. One of the things that I think handicapped us right now on the return to the live meetings and kind of through this lockdown period and such is the transition of the members. How I felt it came upon us very abruptly, and I don't know if it was just something that was overlooked at that time limit. Hey, we're on the deadline of the 3-year period, and we've got to open up the membership or offer the membership up at that point in time, or what the actual drivers were. So I do think that was kind of a setback for us, but me being an optimistic kind of viewing person, I think that, let's now establish ourselves and get going, with full speed with the new team and stuff. So one of the things that I think would help with the community right away is, do we have a primary venue where the meetings are going to take place? Because if somebody wants to go to a board of supervisors meeting, they know what day of the week it is and where it's located and stuff. And I know, in earlier live meetings, we kind of bounced around between 2 or 3 places. I think one of the goals was to hit each community as rotating as possible and stuff. But, there's pros and cons to that. So if we are going to go with a one location type of philosophy and stuff like that, I think the sooner we get it out to the community, the better off we would be. So those are some of my feedback.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. I know we went a little bit over on time, and I guess we just got a time check. I was really happy that the presentations were going kind of quick, so that we would actually have a little bit more time to discuss this. One thing that I kind of want to bring up is we have the training and kind of thinking about the training, how we will be doing the training for the new members and the existing. Also, probably for our next meeting, we'll have a less presentation so that we have a little bit more question and answer discussion. I think that's probably something that we would benefit us a lot more. We'll go ahead and I guess go to the next our next item, which is item number 6. Agency update. I'll make it kind of quick because I think we already went over that time limit too. John, I kind of apologize that I kind of hit it down the road. But as far as the north end, we have been selected for the north end. We're starting that process. It's going to be a new CSC committee that will be starting up in the north end, and I welcome. If any of you, live or work on Brawley, Westmoreland, Calipatria, I welcome you to submit applications. We'll be having 3 workshops on the April 26th, 27th. April 26th would be Calipatria. April 27th, it will be Westmoreland and Brawley. And then we'll start discussing ways we can get the applications out for new members for that CSC committee. Pretty much, I guess, any updates that are from us. One thing that we have on this Sunday, we'll be coming up with an RFP, request for proposals new buses for bus replacement, electric bus replacement, and also for electric charging infrastructure. And it's just the RFP so that we actually get applications and we bring it back to the committee so that we discuss those projects. And if there are projects that we like, that we see the emission reductions. I did hear earlier that someone referred to our CERT. If we do see those emission reductions there, we could vote on those projects and hopefully move it forward. Through our next meeting, we'll set up a little bit more time for discussion and see if we can, during those discussions, we can actually come up with viable projects that we all like to see, that we all like to see. Pretty much, I mean, I don't know if there's anyone from CSC also that would like to have any updates or. No, okay, John?
So something popped in my mind was, remember we had a mobile monitoring trailer at Blue River, or whatever happened with that?
I'll respond to that, John. Yes, we.
You can bring that back to the next one. I know there's and my thought is that we've done a hell of a job on the 2.5. We have to listen to from upline, USDPA, and the emissions reduction part, I think we need to take another look at that during the course of the year and see, you know, how we can do a better job on the certain portion of reduction. That, and also try to incorporate other pollutants into our.
Thank you very much, John. Definitely, I mean, like I said, I think the next meeting we'll be able to have a little bit more time to, we'll set aside a little bit more time for some discussion. Just looking forward, I mean, I did start with the next topic, which was.
I was just wondering if you had a CARB representative who wanted to give an update? No CARB, okay, thank you, Mark.
We can start, I know in the past, I mean, there's, right before the end of the meeting where, we have,
We have a jam board,
the jam board where, we could actually, have, the topics to, discuss. Today, I think, just to save some time, I think, that's a very good, that would be pretty good during the discussion portion of, for the next meeting. I think we should discuss, pretty much go to the next topic, which is number 7. And that's the agenda topic and date for our next meeting. When we were coming up with the agenda, we kind of saw that our next tentative second Wednesday of for the next meeting was on the 10th, April, March, May 10th. I know it's not a holiday, but it's the Dia de las Madres, and so that's why we kind of tentatively, because we're saying that May 17th would be a nice day.
Sorry, yeah, I would like to make a motion that May 10th gets moved, either to, I don't know if the other members can do May 9th, or the APCD in Calexico, and that, yeah, the 17th will be the next. put it up for motion among the members of the committee.
Sergio, would you be able to put a motion for a specific date?
My motion is for either one of those dates. I would rather do it the 9th than the 17th, but, you know, my motion right now is on the 9th.
Okay, so Sergio has put in a motion for May 9th. Do we have a second?
Segundo, el día 17 de mayo. Perdón. ¿Era mayo 9 o 17? Ok. Bueno, yo...
Okay, Virginia, did you second the May 9th? Okay, May 9th. All right, any discussion for the date of May 9th, 2023 for the next meeting?
That's a Tuesday? Thursday. No, that's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. Any discussion? Well, one thought that came about for the May 17th was that maybe 2 weeks before that we could actually come up with a training with where Carter company would help us do some training as far as there's the brown flags or see how to carry ourselves through the meetings. That was one of the thoughts, but I mean there is a motion on the floor for the May 9th. And any other discussion?
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call vote just to make sure we adhere to that, for May 9th, okay? So, thank you.
Yes.
Rene? Michael, for May 9th?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mary? Yes. John?
No.
John? Virginia? Paulo? Jose? Raul? And Ricardo? Okay, the motion passes. For May 9th.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Also like to add in, Michael, we do like rotating from city to city, like Calexico-Heber-El Centro, so like we can be in each community, so, our next meeting, we might be in Calexico, so yeah, we will, be rotating every month.
That's the preferred timing every meeting will be at a new location. Rotating once a month.
I'm sorry, that's up to the committee. If we find a place, I mean, that is, this is a place that where we have the meetings every month, I mean, that's, we know where that meeting, what time the meetings are gonna be at.
We started like that, rotating from city to city, but then for a long time, for doing the meetings at the mall, at our big group. But either way.
Can we adjourn any discussion on that, the location?
That sounds good, we'll go ahead and put it on the agenda.
Okay, so, it's closing remarks and adjournment. I did get, a notice from Victor, from CCD that there are comments, on Facebook, live, and so we're gonna read those just for the record, and then we'll go to the public then, I'm sorry for closing remarks from the CSC.
So we have Gloria Romo. She said, thank you very much for this meeting. These meetings are essential for our community. And then she also said, well, it's in Spanish, I'll translate it in English. We need more monitors in Calexico, and because we both breathe the same air, identify the causes and events that cause the contamination or pollution. And with that, we can make changes on policies and codes according to the city council from Calexico and Mexicali. And José Rodríguez said, okay, hace falta muchos árboles vivos en el valle y con mucha contaminación. De Gloria Romo said, pero árboles apropiados. Gloria Romo, in my opinion, this commission should be expanded with the most involved participants and changed every 2 years. Adriana Montaño says, a mí también me gustaría que se informara más a la comunidad y con información más amigable para cualquier nivel socioeconómico. Esta información es de gran importancia y la mayoría la desconoce. La mayoría de informar con esto desde el primer high school para concientizar a la sociedad, tal vez por medio de sentido. And then, Shulare Kali Zavala needs to be proactive regarding water to the valley due to the Saudis pumping water on an irregular basis. Sooner or later, an open issue will be affected for water usage in order for the developers to continue building more houses. And Gloria Romo thanks for having the meeting in Calexico. And I think another person is recommending another location. Veterans location for meetings, just the top.
Thank you. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay.
All right, does any other CSC member have any closing remarks?
Yeah, actually, I would like for a future agenda that we invite some of the people from Mexico to come and join us in this meeting, to bring their, whatever they've been doing, far studies, monitoring like that, so we have a round table, discussions and comparison, the work between us and them. Maybe we could support them, for what we have learned, and maybe they can give us some points also, things we can learn here. But always, we always mention there's no magic border, and the stuff that happens in Mexico, let's hear it from them. So that's one of the things that I would like to see in future agendas.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. Any other member? Oh, and I'd like to take the chance to thank everyone.
Thank you everyone for your engagement today. We really appreciate everybody being so engaged and having these really deep conversations. So with that, if there are no more questions from the CSC, we'll ask for a motion to end the meeting and a second.
I have the motion to end the meeting.
Okay, very second is it, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for your time.
Well, actually, we voted.
It's adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.